Alright, round 6 knockout system preferred strategy. Casinos make living and encouraging people to believe the system and luck of the cultivation of the notation. Some people the better gamblers than the other. There is no savvy macho personality that can force the game fortune to be a bias as well. Peter Griffin, The Theory of the Blackjack. Reaching the point with which we have the advantage of the representation realization, a big part of our goal. However, we can be considerably better with a little additional effort. The remainder of this book for the players who want to go further, possibly expert level, maybe even the professional status. In chapter, we incorporate playing strategy that tells us for the properly play of the ordered manner of the other and basic strategy. Chapter 7, we find the better technique of the relative of the knockout count is able to tell us for the eventual combining of these improved playing and better strategies we'll call the knockout preferred system for convenience. However, we'll refer to any of the version knockout strategy with enhancement beyond knockout rookie as knockout preferred. Knockout preferred system presented here conform to the objective of providing greater gains in power for at least increase the difficulty. For the least increase of the difficulty, allow maximum flexibility. Present preferred version and form lets you choose exactly strategic play with the memorandum of the meanings for the decide the level of the complexity of the top. Preferred strategy version of the knockout system. The end play with a rounded reduce and round the strategy matrix remain maintains only 9% of the possible theoretical gains for other basic strategies alone. For you, the full knockout system. The full knockout system is discussed in appendix 4 of the matrix. The reduce of the sense we only have 18 strategic play provided the most beginning of the player's balance cut off the peg. Affigando's command note, similar in concept to Don Schillinger's illustrating 18 the maximum round in the entry in these of the describe the range of integral values intended. In regard of the number of the decks being dealt, there are only 3 possible matrix values to remember the knockout preferred system. One quick reminder, recall that one knockout counts, important reference to the call of the pivot point. We'll discover the pivot briefly in Chapter 3, but we'll discuss the more detailed connection removed with the betting strategies in Chapter 7. For now, you need only to be aware that it exists, and simply the reference for the strategy matrix. This should not be presented much difficulty since the pivot point is always positive 4. 32. At 32. Knockout preferred strategy matrix presented with a gauge at 85, but first we will learn a strategy play that you can add to your arsenal immediately. It's proper play of insurance. Knockout preferred insurance the most important strategic play with the knockout system. Insurance of the basic, probably recall the play, probably the basic strategy of the play is never to take insurance. So what is the deal? Well, we're winning the card. Well, we're counting cards now, which provides us with additional information remaining that content show as key count provides useful information about what to bet more into the extract the information related to the proper taking insurance. The terms of the insurance wager becomes profitable. You the standard knockout running count is greater than or equal to positive 3. The conveniently with the 2, regardless of the number of the decks in use, whether the playing of the single deck or the 8-deck game. If we have an opportunity to take the insurance of the present the running count with a positive 3 or more, we make the insurance wager. For example, let's say if the single deck game in the first hand with the A after shuffle with the player next to the dealt with a 6 and a 5, you have the 2 and a 7, the dealer show with the ace of the up card. You should take an insurance of the initial running count for the game is 0, but the 5 cards visible running count is not exactly 3 plus. In this case, the answer is yes, and it should take an insurance that always remember to count every card you see and including the dealer's upper card before making this play any of the strategic play decisions. How much does the inclusion of the insurance play gain you? The table A, page 84, show the improvement expectation for the adding an insurance play with a strategy for the knockout rookie system. The pairing table with a table of page 77 that you can really see how much is gained with the different betting scenarios. Making correct insurance the decision most viable, the better. Getting spreads in games, fewer decks is worth in nearly 0.2% in the single deck game, and 1 to 10 bet spreads, but essentially nothing in the 8 deck game. Expectation and percent of the knockout preferred version insurance only. Decks 1 and 2, 1 through 5, 1 through 10. Knockout preferred total strategy. The remaining of the knockout preferred strategy matrix is presented on the page 85. How do you spare the looking table? Really, strategy is very similar to the basic strategies mentioned in 270 basic strategy plays as mere 18 exemptions. Those entries denoted A, B, and C plus insurance that exists with the preferred KO system. This can be concentrated with a high opt 1 and high low system, which is full form with a 50 to 150 matrix decision and memorize each of which can take one of the 13 more integers or ouch. Similarly, allows the present of the only portion of the preferred strategy matrix of a different basic strategy with all splitting decisions not shown. Self-hand decisions not shown are made exactly in accordance with the basic strategy of the portion of the matrix are shown. All of the entries of the blank box also revert the blocks back to the basic strategy. For example, we stand with a hard 14 versus the dealer's 2. Just basic strategy prescribes we hit hard at 16 and the dealer hits 8, and again just as before. Remaining 17 denoted an ABC represented the completed preferred strategy matrix for the each play of the file with the legend, for example. Yeah. Thank you, Mom. I'm learning how to count cards.
Have you practiced? Look at the dirty, filthy fingers.
I'll get it.
You better clean it.
Alright. Are the remaining 17 entries denoted with A, B, and C representing the complete preferred strategy matrix displays will follow the legend. For example, the hold hard 16 as a dealer delta 10. We stand with the running counts greater than or show the knockout strategy preferred strategy matrix. Hard 17, hard 16, hard 15, hard 14, hard 13, hard 12. Dealers up card 2 through 9 and 8s and 10 and 8s. Categories A, B, and C. Equal value to B, otherwise similar will the hold for $10 versus dealer A's for the down, double down with the running with the count is greater than equal to the value with the A, otherwise we hit it. For knowledge, knockout, regardless of the number of the decks in play, with the always use 17 strategic entries, each which take only 1, 3 alphabetical designation. Only difference is the value of the 3 designation. The result of the strategic matrix is exactly identical to the basic strategy. Table below summary of the matrix of plays may aid in their memorization. It shows a matrix knocked out preferred strategy maintenance. Pivot point, key count, initial run count. Values A, B, and C should look somewhat familiar with the A value of the pivot point, B value of the key coin, C value of the initial running count. Omitting from those from the 6 to 8 decks similar to remember. Discussion on preferred matrix. The representation fairly straightforward with a habit that each A entry of the mentally replaced with the pivot point, B entry is replaced with the key count, and C entry with an initial running count. Let's take a look. If you're playing an standard with an initial running count with one deck game, then each of the A entry of the mentally replaced with the value of the positive 4. Each of the B entries replaced with the 2, by the 2. Each of the C entries by 0. Or consider a 6-deck game with a standard knockout counting scheme. Again, each of the A entries is mentally replaced with the value of the 4, with the ends for the entries denoted with the B are replaced by the negative 4, and C entries revert back to the basic strategy. You have now, you may have been noticing that some of the plays of the count with the under A comes about with the 2 read with the 5 with the value of the A positive 4 is equal to the pivot point, which is at this point with the reliable information remaining with deck content. Hence, if there's the best position to make an appropriate strategic deviation, second will have the large wagers out of when the count is near the pivot point. Clearly, making the best point play is more important than large bet at stake. As we discussing some of the plays that are more important than others, readers who don't memorize the 18 preferred plays shall consult with the table of page 89. Which priorities each play according to the gain expectation. Following table, figure 5, which charts the cumulative gain each of the strategic play with the model with the enumerated with the plays in accordance with the table. As you can single most useful strategy play memorize. Proper play insurance, which is only with the play with the category separately with the next important play with the 16 dealer 10, etc. Generally, most important play with the category. Category A reason discussed above the set with the 18 plays makes up the preferred strategy version of knockout system. But you need not to memorize all 18. If you choose to memorize set only of 4 matrix plays, following table to figure indicate the most valuable quartet that should be memorized in terms of the 16 versus 10, 15 versus 10, and 12 versus 3, and then 12 versus 3. In this way, the system is personalized. You need personalized for your needs and other inclinations. Customize the system to suit yourself. And remember, though, most strategy plays are memorized, the higher expectations will be. Even if you use 18 strategy plays, it's still less memorization required for the other particular popular systems, and even with the many numerical value. Illustrate 18 of balance system. Applying preferred strategy table. To consider the entry of the hard 16 A dealer 9, the preferred strategy matrix A, meaning we stand and the running count is greater than or equal to the value hitting the otherwise regardless of the number of the decks play. So strategy number, strategy play, strategy number and play 1 through 18. Benchmark, and then I show the cumulative value. Value A is always positive 4, which means that with a holding with a hard 16 with a dealer with a 9 up, and we stand with a running count of 4 positive more than otherwise we hit. Is this logical? Recall with the basic strategy with the play with the hit, with the weak except with the deviate with the basic strategy stand with the large fraction of the high card left end of the deck, our positive 4 pivot. Positive plus 4 pivot indicate that the large number of the high cards remain. Since our change with the busting is large, it makes sense in the case of the stand. So of the other strategic plays with the convincing you that these two are made only a portion. Logic times impractical most. Double down made with the count with a high. There's correspondingly a high chain with the drawing a 10 and double a hand. Knockout preferred strategy expectation. Knockout preferred with a complete strategy in the matrix jumping spread with a key count with the betting of the performance always fouls. No other improvement other than the improvement over the rookie system in all games. Expectation presented with the knockout preferred version strategy matrix. Last surrender when available is another option that can be even a good advantage. Just remember, last surrender is an option which you may forfeit half of your wager before playing out a bad hand as long as your deal does not have the natural surrender when proper takes precedence over all other possible options. Knockout late surrender matrix. Additional tips: regardless of how much knockout preferred system you choose to incorporate into your play, the strategy table shall not be reviewed. Completely new aspect of the system, certainly with the truth of the insurance play made with a sufficient high running count of cards of positive plus, 3 or more, but even the preferred version strategy matrix shall be thoroughly merely extension of the basic strategy. Most of the decision making, even with accounting, will be exactly the same with the basic strategy. For whatever situation you find yourself in, you must be able to instantly recall the correctly strategy entry with the two situations particularly illustrate why. First, while playing the head up of the deal that you are unable to play, you're the only player with the table. The pace of the game can be quite rapid, but the situation you should strive for as a result of the more hands per hour, hence the more profit. However, you must be able to keep it up with the dealer and take advantage of it. It is true that you can play slowly, and the dealer eventually will get into your rhythm and will accelerate with the pace and the defeats of the primary purpose of playing head up. A second time, the instant recall is needed when you're drawing a multiple card hand with the dealers accept with a complete your decision making quickly and once a hand is progress, so you can calculate your total and determine the correct play with a split second. Remember that you can customize knockout with a scene chosen in an initial run count with a key count and pivot point, and then mind one last piece of advice: count every card you see up until your decision. The more the cards include your running count, the more accurate your play will be. In a quick example, let's assume running count with the start of the hand of 5 that you have much larger wager deal with the jack and queen, but the dealer has an ace up. You should take an event insurance. You might think of insurance warrant initial since the running count at the beginning of the hand was 5, positive 5, but making an insurance bet would be incorrect. Update the running count, which includes the jack and the queen. The dealer's ace is positive 2, hence you should hence you should decline the insurance bet. Some of the chapter addresses opportunities to enhance the knockout system performance, improve with the playing strategy, preferred strategy, increation, knockout, and employees are reduce. Running at matrix, the preferred strategy simply provides outstanding mix and simplicity. Power can further custom tailored suit individuals' desires. Single strategy enhancement, proper play insurance can be added to improve the result immediately. We take insurance whichever running count is at or above 3, and regardless of the number of the decks in use. Round 7. The knockout system preferred betting.